pressure on the governments that the governments shall take up it as a priority, top priority. Already, because of the deforestation, there is a lot of erosion of the land. Most of the lands are getting silted. Most of the rivers are getting silted. Most of the projects are getting silted. The projects that have been built up 3 or 4 decades ago, or 5 decades ago, or 6 decades ago, almost 30% or 35%, 25% of the importing capacity is filled with the silt. We have no proper mechanism of saving these precious projects. Unless you take up vast plantation, natural plantation, and grow your forestry, you cannot prevent the erosion, and ultimately we will be spoiling the rivers. So in this context, I may have to throw little light onto the subject, referring to the initiatives that are taken by Government of Telangana under the able leadership of our Chief Minister Sri KCR. Very aptly said by Sri Raju Garu, saying that a gigantic project by name Kaleshwaram has been built within 3 years. It's a record time. Record in the entire globe, I say, not in India. Even 3 gadgets project of first phase was only completed within 3 years, not the entire project. Now here the entire Kaleshwaram project has been completed within 3 years. Here we have to realize and understand one thing, that a contemplated project, if it gets completed within a stipulated period, you will have the lot of saving first. At the earliest possible time, you will have the resources to be put to the usage, intended usage of the people. And unfortunately, we are in a country where we see that the projects are contemplated, foundations are laid. By the time you realize their waters, one generation passes away. That's what has happened. Then the cost of construction of each and every project, such project, automatically goes up. And the fruits that are to be realized by the people, they never realize in their lifetime. That is the case with us. I represent and I come from a district which is popularly known as Labour District. Our area, it was very prosperous. And for 3-4 decades it has suffered like anything, and that remained as the symbol of poverty, symbol of famine, symbol of drought, symbol of backwardness. Because even the small projects that were contemplated were not finished within the stipulated period. They were supposed to be completed in 4 years, and they have taken 40 years to complete. That completion also was done only after attaining Telangana, and at our hands we have completed. We have amongst us my friend Mr. Khagendar, who worked as chief engineer of our projects. Our Shamprasadana is here. Many of engineers are here who relentlessly worked for completion, early completion of the projects in the state of Telangana. So now that with the great effort we could provide irrigation potential to our erstwhile Mahbubnagar district to an extent of 12 lakh acres. Now it is going up by 20 lakh acres in another 1 or 1.5 years. This is irrigation part I am submitting. But as far as protecting, saving the rivers, what are the main initiatives? What are the desired initiatives one has to take as a ruler? So now that Government of Telangana has taken up a prestigious program of restoring the erstwhile tanks, the tanks that were built in a period of 1,000 years, right from Kakatiya dynasty to Nizams. All such irrigation tanks which were destroyed, destructed, neglected, were taken up and restored. Thereby, all such tanks have started yielding groundwater very effectively. Their impounding capacity has increased and lot of irrigation potential has increased. In the next phase, we have taken up constructing check dams across the rivers and riverlets. 1,800 check dams we have completed. 1,800 check dams, and again another 1,500 to 1,800 check dams we are going to construct. We will be permanently paving a way for the groundwater to be increased and to make the surface water available to the farmers, not only for agriculture and also to the drinking purposes. The vegetation that is coming up very rapidly, the ecosystem is improving. Certain creatures like birds, rarely we used to see in the childhood, and we missed them for almost 4 decades. And now we have seen not only the people who are migrating in rivers, the birds that we missed for all these years have also started migrating back to their places. That is the beauty. So this is the ecosystem we have developed. And added to this, in order to prevent the rivers, riverlets not to be polluted, our Chief Minister has visualized and he has realized the importance, and he has declared a program. We have amended the acts, local body acts, Gram Panchayats and municipalities, whereby we have authorized the local bodies. We have not only authorized by legislative provisions, we have also authorized them and empowered them by providing monthly amounts from the exchequer of the state. And what they are required to do, now in each and every village, the Gram Panchayat mandatorily has to take up growing of a nursery. That nursery shall cater the needs of the plantation of the entire village. May it be avenue plantation, may it be plantation in government places, may it be plantation by the farmers, may it be plantation elsewhere, and also regenerate. The degraded forest. Nursery is one element. There never used to be a nursery for each and every village. In India, I can proudly say that there is no state which maintains nursery for each and every village today. It's only Telangana state. And we have equipped the Gram Panchayat by providing one tractor with trolley and also with tanker. We have provided garbage collection autos. We have increased the salaries of the panchayat and municipal workers who work on sanitation. They collect the day-to-day garbage. They carry it, put it in tractor. This tractor trolley takes it to a distant place in the village, where we have provided one segregation shed, one dumping yard. The material which can be decomposed will be put in the dumping yard. The plastic will be segregated. The other materials like bottles and such other materials will be collected separately. All such materials will be taken away by the required people for processing in their own way. And this tanker of the tractor will be engaged every day to provide water to the planted plantations. Now you can see wherever you go, any corner of the state, each and every Telangana village welcomes you with the green plantations all along the roads, within the village, outside the village. We have increased the green cover by 3% within 7 years of our governance. No other state in the country has taken such initiative. We wish and we want that all the states have to take up this activity. Similarly, see what is happening is, we have focused on the sanitation very seriously. The entire garbage is collected, it is processed. We are not allowing it to spread into the rivers. That we have prevented successfully. The drains perfectly they have been constructed. Soak pits are constructed in each and every village. Therefore, whenever you have a rainy season, extensive rains are there, only water flows, but water doesn't carry all this garbage and all the human spoil. That is how the rivers of Godavari and Krishna, these days, for the last 3-4 years, they are not getting any human residue or garbage residues into the seas. By and large, to a larger extent, we are successful. The nation and national government should focus on such issues. They should not feel shy because KCR initiated such initiatives here first. Why should we copy? They should think of. They hardly find time to think about all such things. They are very leisure at playing politics only. It is most unfortunate. It is most unfortunate. And resultantly, the increase of water potential has led to the excess production of agricultural produces in the state. You might have observed recently, from the month of February onwards. Earlier, we have strived and struggled for square meal, the people of this area, in spite of the best resources we had, because they were not put to use of this region. And now the agricultural growth is such, within 7 years, that the government of India became hands up and saying that we are not able to buy or purchase your food grains from your state because already we are excess in the country, so don't grow. Any production in the universe, sociologically also if you think, any production in the universe is a sign of progress. You can never say that you stop this. You have to think how to make use of it in other forms, how to make use of it in other countries. Agricultural produce of this country can be used elsewhere in the world. Even today, people of African continent, almost 30 to 35% of people from the African continent, they are struggling for food. Supreme Court observed recently, saying that 20 to 25 crores of people of this country are suffering for lack of food. When excess production is coming, the government of India is not in a position to manage and rationalize the food items, food grains, pulses, oils, whatever it is. So what is the role being played by governments? So this is one thing you have to think. Of course, Prakash is the chief ambassador of Godavari River and Kaleshwaram project. And I think he is one who visited our erstwhile Mahabubnagar district more than the leaders of our erstwhile district themselves. That is his greatness. I request all of you, if not tomorrow, sometime in the near future, make a point to visit Kaleshwaram project and its connecting bodies in your lifetime. You rarely see, you can't even visualize, you can't imagine. We know only the running and flowing rivers in the universe. But KCR has done a magic where the rivers have started flowing to the back, flowing to the other end. So by constructing Kaleshwaram project with 3 barrages and pumping stations and all across river Godavari, my friend Sridhar Deshpande is there. He is our social colleague. He has contributed so much in the field of engineering, particularly in the irrigation sector. His contribution is so much that he could influence many intellectuals of the state. Almost ఎంత శామనాది 180 కిలోమీటర్లు ఉంటుందా గోదావరి మేడిగడ్డ నుంచి చివరి దాకా 200 ఎల్లంపల్లి మేడిగడ్డ టు ఎల్లంపల్లి బ్యాక్ వాటర్స్ almost 200 kilometers stretch of Godavari river is now made live with water with an impounding capacity of almost 35 to 40 TMC. It will be there all through, whether it is a summer or rainy season, whatever it is, water will be there all through. Therefore, this conscious and deliberate effort made by the government of Telangana is an eye-opener to rest of the country. I am given to understand that there are almost representatives from the 26 states here except Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Hopefully they might be attending tomorrow. So I request you all to have conscious and deliberate deliberations in your own areas, in your respective states, in your areas of operations. Then make the people enlightened more and more on these issues. Because the future will be, I don't think there will be any logical wars. But if we do not rationalize ourselves, if we do not rationally use the water across the globe, there will be wars only for waters in future. Otherwise, you have no way except the last, least, worst and most expensive method of desalination of the sea waters. There is a last resort which we can't afford. Humankind cannot afford. Therefore, I believe that the proposed deliberations and discussions in the academic and technical sessions that are following after this inaugural session would throw a greater light and useful light onto the issues, and all of you will be enlightened in the result. The people will be enlightened, and I thank you one and all, and particularly I thank the organizers for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you one and all.
Before concluding, now I am requesting Honorable Chief Guest, mementos please. Soni and Narmada, be ready with mementos. Now, memento to Rajendra Singh Ji by Minister, Honorable Minister. नहीं आपको दे रहे नहीं आपका नाम पे पहले मैं इनको दे दूं नहीं आपका नाम पे नहीं you are the international popular leader या आपका नाम पे है वो thank you it's our honor हमारा स्टेट के तरफ से not from Niranjan Reddy personal on behalf of Telangana state we are honoring you now the memento to Honorable Minister by Dr. Rajendra Singh Ji. Yeah. It's a wonderful speech. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Now, Honorable Minister will give memento to ISN Raj Garu, guest of honor. ISN Raj Garu, memento this one. I'm privileged, sir. Yeah. Bhaiji, idhar aaye. Yeah. Yeah. Aye. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Koncham mundu. Yeah. Total team is here. Yeah, చూడండి Corona garu. Thank you. So now I am requesting Honorable Chairman of Krishna family, Ma Anna Shamanna, he, he will give some concluding remarks and vote of thanks for this session. Please bear 5 minutes for Sham Prasad Reddy Garu. He is a eminent engineer and a leader of all the engineers. He is the General Secretary of Telangana Retired Engineers Association and soul of this event. He is the soul of this event. Without him, we cannot go forward. And the supporting organizations also there. But we will give mementos in the valedictory function by Honorable Minister Harish Rao Garu. So that's why I limited mementos only to Chief Guest and Guest of Honor and Baiji. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon to all. Because we are already, I think, 1.5 hours late. Okay, friends, I have been interested with the to sum up and conclude the today's session. Now, this meeting's presiding officer or chairman, Prakash Garu, and our chief guest, Honorable Singre Niranjan Reddy Annagaru, and our mentor, and Rajendra Singh ji, Dr. Rajendra Singh ji, our guest of honor, Dr. ISN Raj Garu, and our Himalayan River Basins chairperson, Dr. Indira Khurana ji, and Madabushi Sridhar Garu, and our President Damodar Reddy Garu, and Rameshwar Rao Garu, and DG Valamthari Srinivas Garu, and my friends sitting in the rare seats, and friends from all the states except 2 states, I think so. Really, I am very happy. Today, you see, the last week, when we have conducted one press meet, Rajendra Singh ji said, why we have chosen Hyderabad for this meet? He said 3 things. Because this state, I have seen a dry river of Godavari is full of water in 200 kilometers by constructing the gigantic and engineering marvel of this Kaleshwaram project. And second thing is, the state government has taken up 2 missions. One is Kakatiya mission for reviving 46,000 minor irrigation tanks and check dams. And a third one is supplying drinking water to every household in the state. This is a unique thing in the country. For 3 things, for these 3 things, I have chosen, he said, Hyderabad for this meet. Thank you, Rajendra Singh ji. And today, you see, our event started with the presentation of presentation on water conservation by Sri Mahendra Modi ji. Really, it was wonderful presentation. We will try to connect with him, and we will try to implement. We are also, as retired engineers, we are also serving these farmers for in 3-4 states by visiting them with free of cost, free consultancy for going for rainwater harvesting. Really, even we have gone to Tamil Nadu and Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka and Andhra also. Really, Prakash ji has introduced all the dignitaries on the dais in a pleasant way. Really, I am very much happy. And he explained about the 2 days programs also. And Indira Khurana ji, she spoken about Himalayan rivers, Sindhu, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Madam, people used to think that Brahmaputra is the He river, but it becomes a She river when it enters into Bangladesh as Jamuna. And that Jamuna becomes Meghna after meeting Padma. Therefore, all the rivers before joining the sea are She rivers only. Okay, Talian, please. Thank you. And really, and we have released 2
one book, Sujal Bharati and website, and Sweta Junjunwala has very clearly explained about the website also. And Prakash ji reiterated that the general should become the voice of the voiceless rivers. Please, claps, please. Our general, that the aim of our general is voice of the voiceless rivers. And really, river anthem, the video has been played, and it is really most inspiring song done under the guidance of our mentor, Dr. Rajendra Singh ji. And other Manohar Manavji also from Bengal, from Bihar, has got his River Yatra book released by our Honorable Minister, our own Minister, Niranjan Reddy garu. And Dr. Rajendra Singh ji, he has very clearly explained the objective and the aim of this meet. What is our aim? Finally, he said, he has explained so many things. Finally, he said, our activity is to make a river manifesto. You see, this meet's main aim is to make a river manifesto to be deliberated among the Indian civil society, and finally we will come to a final manifesto. And he said, reiterated, not a single judgment has been implemented which have been given in the favor of rivers so far. Really, it is very sorry state of affairs. And prior to our constitution, we used to treat our rivers as mothers. But in our constitution also, there are so many articles which safeguard our rivers. Therefore, we fight for the safeguards our river. And all this, as a civil engineer and irrigation engineer, I want to say one word, that all these years, we were taught by our professor like P.G. Shastri Garu and other things, how to exploit the rivers, how to exploit the water bodies. Either by gravity or by lift, we have to see that the water reaches the poor man in the village. But we never taught about how to safeguard the rivers. We never taught about the pollution, how we are polluting the rivers, how the rivers have been encroached by the encroachers. That we were never taught. We used to think that it is a matter of, we have left it for activists from environmentalists. It is not our activity. As engineer means, we should build dams, we should excavate the canals, we should give water to the farmers and industries. That's all. But here, after coming into your fold, sir, and also Dr. Khadarwali, now we have realized that all these years, whether have we done the right thing or the wrong thing. Even my 35 years service, we have constructed so many dams, so many reservoirs and so many canals. Really, is it worthy? You see, the sir has made 12 rivers in desert green. Rejuvenated. That too in Rajasthan, with the very meager rainfall. Really wonderful, sir, you have done. It requires a Nobel Prize, that's all. Also, we have seen this Mr. Hivare Bazar. The rainfall is only 380. Mr. Popatra Pawar, he made miracles. History. You see, in Telangana, we are having average rainfall is 750. Really, we require, do we require so much of gigantic projects? Because Niranjan Anna is here, he is agriculture minister. We need water for agriculture. But we are constructing so many gigantic projects with so many thousands of crores. But we have, in the water utilization, water use, we are not using it properly. Government is expending so many things, so many crores. But water use efficiency is at a low level, Anna. We have to increase the water use efficiency, at least for these lift schemes. because nearly 50 lakh acres will be irrigated by lifty schemes only in Telangana. And really, Anna, ISN Raj garu explained about the Indian rivers, Himalayan rivers and our peninsular rivers. And he highlighted that we could, our 40 million hectares is prone to floods. We could save only 18 million acres out of 40. That also very concerned subject. And even he has touched about this quality of power, and hydropower is the only source, and rivers getting polluted. In that way, he is very much concerned. And finally our chief guest, he really, I overwhelmed after hearing his speech. Really, please claps, please. He has touched every subject. As a farmer, as an administrator, as a minister, he has touched everything. Really wonderful, Anna. In Sanskrit, we used to say, Vruksho Rakshiti Rakshitaha. If you save trees, they will save you. Then our new theme should be, Rajendra ji, Jalo Rakshiti Rakshitaha. You save water and it will save you. In that way, today Niranjan Reddy Anna, he has touched so many items right from civilization, Sindhu Nagarikata, Sindhu civilization, to how the government has taken up so many programs, plantation, nursery for every village, and check dams, and really birds are returning, just like Palamur labor are returning from the cities and other parts of India. Birds also started coming to our area because we are having water bodies and greenery everywhere in Telangana now. And in that way, I am very happy, and he has touched other subjects also. Anyhow, Anna, we are very much thankful to you. Today really, our session, first session, it was to be completed by 11:30, but
it will continue. Only you can send off.
Antena? Okay. And Antena? No, వాళ్ళకు మరి what of thanks చెప్పాలి కదా. Okay. Those who are leaving, especially our chief guest, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Singreddy Niranjan Reddy garu, in spite of his busy schedule, he has really, the moment we requested him, he said, at what time I have to come? We said at 10. He was ready by 10. But we asked him, requested him to come by half an hour late. In that way, we are very much thankful to Anna for taking this time. And you spent 2 hours with us, and you delivered a wonderful lecture, and you touched all the subjects. Therefore, I am very much on behalf of Indian Himalayan River Basin Council and Indian Peninsular River Basin Council, and my behalf of Krishna River family, and on behalf of all of us, we are very much thankful to you, Anna, for sparing this time. And anybody is leaving, Anna? Also our guest of honor, our respected Dr. ISN Raj garu, really with a short time he has consented to give his address here. We are very much thankful to you, sir. Okay, thank you. Now I am very much thankful to you, our Chairman ji, for giving this opportunity to share my views and to say what of thanks to the dignitaries. And okay, thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, please be seated, everyone. Only ministers and guest of honor Raj garu will leave the dais and hall. Everyone should sit. Please don't go out. Karnaka Reddy garu, don't allow anyone to go out. Yeah. Minister is available in the evening. Anyone want to visit his home? It's very close to 1-2 kilometers from here. Yeah. Please be seated. Narmada ji. Everyone should come back. Please settle back. Then one important session we have, River Manifesto. It's an important session. Yeah. Sir, మీరు వెళ్తారా ఎవరన్నా? Yeah, if anybody want to leave, you can. Yeah. Now it's time for the important session. Now we are focusing the entire session, 2 days session. The main item is River Manifesto. So we have distributed 1-page note to everyone. Andarku vachinda, everyone got the papers? So you will get it. 1-page note. Sir, andarku vachinattu chudandi. You can distribute. Sandeep, nu kuda po. So everyone will get, and backside only white place, you can give feedback. Whatever the suggestions you have, you can write in your language. If you understand English, if you are unable to write in English, you can write in your local language. Guru Swamiji will translate, and other friends from Karnataka will translate it if they are in Kannada. So now the session is, just I will take this. Yeah, thank you, bye sir. Yeah, for River Manifesto session, I am inviting guests on the dais, Sanjay Singh ji from Jhansi, UP. And Vinod Bodankar ji. And Indira Khurana already is here, and Satyanarayana Bolsetti ji, please come on to the dais. And Naren Chug ji, and Manohar Mano ji, Dr. Snehal Donde ji, and Guru Swami ji. You please come on to the dais. Sridhar, already our chief guest of this session, Mr. Sridhar Madabushi, is already here. You can speak. Miri Karnandi, Sridhar, you can come here. You are the chief guest. You are the one seat. Yeah, one seat. Yeah. This session presided by our Honorable Chairman of Indian Himalayan River Basin Council, Indira Khurana ji. Please preside this session. You can sit here. Yeah. Before handing the mic to Indira ji, I will request Dr. Rajendra Singh ji share few words and ideas about the River Manifesto, why it is required, why the manifesto is required for river. So I am requesting Dr. Rajendra Singh ji to speak about River Manifesto for 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
हम भारत के लोग नदियों को जिस लगाव के साथ माँ कहते थे, वो लगाव इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बाद नहीं रहा। तो फिर श्रीधर मेरे साथ बैठे हैं, वो बताएंगे कि इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में सचमुच नदियों के लिए क्या है। पर यदि हमें मैनिफेस्टो बनाना है तो मैनिफेस्टो की जरूरत क्या है? वाई वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग द मैनिफेस्टो फॉर रिवर? क्यों बनाना इसलिए होता है कि जब हमें दूसरों को बताना होता है, दूसरों से वोट लेने होते हैं, तब हम झूठा सच्चा मैनिफेस्टो बनाते हैं वोट लेने के लिए। हमें तो वोट नहीं चाहिए, तो फिर हमें मैनिफेस्टो क्यों चाहिए? हमें मैनिफेस्टो इसलिए चाहिए कि हम अपनी लाइफ में नदियों के साथ कैसे डिसिप्लिन्ड होकर उनके साथ व्यवहार करें। नदियों को यदि हमें स्वस्थ रखना है, रिवर हेल्थ एंड ह्यूमन हेल्थ रिलेशनशिप को समझना है, तो हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को मोटिवेट कर सकते हैं कि वो यदि स्वस्थ जीवन जीना चाहते हैं तो वो नदियों को स्वस्थ रखना शुरू करें। यदि वो स्वस्थ नहीं रहना चाहते तो नदियों को मर जाने दो, गंदे नाले बन जाने दो। जैसे बंबई की 5 नदियों को नाले बना दिया था, वैसे भारत की सारी नदियां नाले बन जाएंगी, गंगा भी बन जाएगी, कृष्णा भी बन जाएगी, कावेरी भी बन जाएगी, एवरीवन रिवर ट्रीटेड लाइक ड्रेन। लेकिन इस नदी के नाले बनने से तुम्हारी लाइफ कैसी होगी? उस लाइफ में तुम क्या करोगे? तुम्हारी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन तुम्हें माफ नहीं करेगी। तुम्हारा बेटा और बेटी कहेगी कि तुम्हें मेरे दादा और दादी और नाना और नानी ने जैसी नदी दी थी वैसी तुम मेरे लिए क्यों नहीं छोड़ के जा रहे हो? Why you not give the river like my grandfather and grandmother give to you? They are asking you, my dear. इसलिए अच्छे लोग वो होते हैं जो बुरा समय आने से पहले अपने को सुधारने के लिए अपनी लाइफ में कुछ कमिटमेंट करते हैं। तो दिस मैनिफेस्टो इज द कमिटमेंट नॉट फॉर ओनली गवर्नमेंट, दिस इज द कमिटमेंट फॉर अस। ये मैनिफेस्टो वोट लेने के लिए नहीं है, ये मैनिफेस्टो झूठा किसी को दिखाने के लिए नहीं है, ये मैनिफेस्टो है हमारे लिए कि हम कैसे हों। इसलिए इस मैनिफेस्टो में हमें अपनी नदी के साथ कैसा व्यवहार करना चाहिए और नदियों की आवाज बनकर हम नदियों को कैसे जिंदा कर सकते हैं, मरी हुई नदियों को हम कैसे नदी बना सकते हैं। ये सब जो काम है ये करने के लिए हमने 2 काउंसिल बनाई थी 7 जुलाई को। कहां बनाई थी? ब्रह्मगिरी पर्वत पर। ब्रह्मगिरी पर्वत पर हम बहुत ज्यादा लोग नहीं थे, लेकिन ब्रह्मगिरी पर्वत पर वहां के लोगों ने अपने पर्वत की हरियाली और गोदावरी नदी की पवित्रता गोदावरी नदी की और सह्याद्री की हरियाली के लिए संकल्प लिया था। तभी हम लोगों को ध्यान में आया कि ये हमारा भी संकल्प होना चाहिए कि इस देश की नदियों को हमारी जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है वो वैसी देख सके। इसलिए हमने पेनिनसुलर रिवर काउंसिल और हिमालय रिवर काउंसिल बनाई थी। फॉर्चुनेटली हिमालय रिवर काउंसिल को देखने वाले लोग बहुत कमिटमेंट के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। पेनिनसुलर रिवर को, पूरी रिवर सिस्टम को समझने वाले लोग बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहे हैं। दोनों काउंसिल एक से एक आगे बढ़ के काम कर रही हैं और जितने भी राज्य हैं उन राज्यों के सारे प्रतिनिधि अभी जोधपुर में मिले थे पिछले महीने, अब यहाँ मिल रहे हैं। अगले महीने हम दिल्ली में मिलने वाले हैं 14-15 अप्रैल को। हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं डे बाय डे कि ये मैनिफेस्टो हमें क्या करने के लिए प्रेरित करेगा। सो दिस मैनिफेस्टो मोटिवेटिंग फोर्स फॉर अस, वी कैन मेक डिसिप्लिन इन आवर लाइफ फॉर द रिवर। सो दिस इज द कमिटमेंट फॉर दिस मैनिफेस्टो। हम किसी से वोट लेने के लिए झूठा सच्चा मैनिफेस्टो नहीं बनाने वाले हैं। हम एक सच्चा मैनिफेस्टो बनाना चाहते हैं जिससे हम अपने आप को डिसिप्लिन कर सकें। इसलिए मैं इंदिरा जी को माइक देते हुए ये कहूंगा कि इंदिरा जी, इस मैनिफेस्टो में हमें ये देखना होगा कि हमारी सारी भाषाओं में, लोकल भाषाएं, अंग्रेजी, हिंदी, सब में ये मैनिफेस्टो तैयार होना चाहिए। लेकिन आज हम हिंदी और अंग्रेजी में केवल करें, इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी दोनों लैंग्वेज में आज शाम तक ये मैनिफेस्टो तैयार हो जाए, ऐसी मैं आशा करता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद। मैंने 5 मिनट से ज़्यादा नहीं लिया, सुबह भी मैंने 10 मिनट से ज़्यादा नहीं लिया।
नहीं भाई जी, आपने टाइम नहीं ज़्यादा लिया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद भाई जी। आपने जो हम इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं सेटिंग द टोन, अभी जो डिस्कशन होगी उसके बारे में आपने हम सबको प्रेरित किया एज ऑलवेज। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और जैसे कि सुबह से बात हो रही है कि इस मैनिफेस्टो में हम वो कोशिश करेंगे जो नदियाँ जो बेजुबां हैं अभी, जो जिनको हमने बेजुबां बना दिया है, उनकी हम आवाज़ बने और अपने कमिटमेंट हम क्या कर सकते हैं नदियों के लिए वो हम आगे इस मैनिफेस्टो में बताएं. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच भाई जी. I'd like to now invite Professor Sridhar Madabusi, former Chief Information Commissioner and expert on legal matters, especially pertaining to rivers, to share his experience and his thoughts with us. Thank you so much.
A very good afternoon to all of you. The dignitaries on the dais, Waterman of India, Bulli Satyanarayana Garu, Indiraji, Snehaji, and other friends who are sitting here, experts from different states. I salute them for their great efforts to conserve the life of the nature. Life of the nature is river, and they are committed to protect the life of the nature. I salute to them for their commitment. Then all the great friends sitting before me. The entire civilization is on the banks of river. If there is no river, there is no civilization. If there is no river, there is no nature. If there is no nature, we are not there. I was asked to talk on constitutional aspects of rivers and rivers protection. I'd like to tell you the meaning of constitution is nature. If you go to homeopathy doctor, he will examine your constitution. What is your constitution? That means what is the nature of your body, and then he will administer the medicine to you. And in fact, they believe that is the correct method of diagnosing the disease and going for the treatment, comprehensive treatment. So nature is the constitution, and Constitution of India is the nature of India. But do we have any protective provisions in the Constitution about the nature of India? That is the question before us. It is subtly mentioned in Directive Principles of State Policy, Article 48 and Article 51. But it is manifestly mentioned in Article 21, that is right to life. Now, how can I link right to life, which is available to persons, to rivers, is the question before us. But let me tell you, that is the crux of the issue. In our country, we regard certain entities as legal persons. You know, there are two kinds of persons, natural persons and legal persons. Legal persons are also called artificial persons. But most of the real legal persons are natural persons, not artificial persons. They are natural persons. For example, you might have read and heard about the Ayodhya litigation. Do you know who is the party to the Ayodhya litigation? Can anybody tell? Ram Lalla. Ram Lalla, how can Ram Lalla be a litigant? He is not a living person. But we have given him an attribute of living person as a legal personality. And as a legal personality, his rights were discussed. It is not the right of A, not right of B, not right of C, not right of government, not right of Uttar Pradesh, not right of Faizabad, not right of Ayodhya, but it was right of Ram Lalla. Similarly, Lord Venkateswara in Tirupati, Tirumala is a legal personality, and all others are his trustees. They manage his property. They are not owners of the property. Similarly, we gave status of legal person to, do you know, in the near Ayodhya, there is one legal person which we ignore. That is Naimisharanya. I don't know, I think you must have heard of Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya is one of the 108 Divya Deshas. Divya Desha means where Narayana was praised by 12 Alvars of South India. They are called Divya Desha. You must have heard recently Ramanuja's statue was established in Hyderabad, and it is surrounded by 108 Divya Deshas, and one of which is Naimisharanya. So you remember Naimisharanya as a legal person, and do you know that Ganga is called God and Ganga is called legal person? Do you know that? Ganga is mother river Ganga. You know Saraswati river that comes from Mana, near Himalayas, near Badri Narayan Kshetra. It is called God. It is given the status of legal person not according to law, but according to our own worship and nature. And we perform puja of nadis for every 12 years. It is called Pushkara. For every 12 years, we perform pujas for every river. We go there and take bath to get punya, but nobody thinks of the pap we are committing by polluting them. Nobody thinks of that. So we are polluting even by taking bath in it. With all our muddy thoughts and muddy body, you are polluting the river. We don't bother about it. So this is the situation in our country. If you remember Bhagavat, I would like to refer to Kaliya Mardana, Sri Krishna Leela. Do you know what is it? It is cleansing of a water body from the poison of pollution and respecting it. And then similarly, Krishna is known for worshipping a hilak, Govardhan. So these are all two symbols of respecting environmental entities of this country, wonderful country. We regard river as God, we regard forest as God, we regard as hill as God. Do you know where the hill is revered as God? Do you know? Badri Narayan. There are two hills. One is called Nara Hill and Narayana Hill. No, we respect hills also as gods, but we don't know how not to pollute it. We don't know how to conserve it. That is the pathetic state of affairs in our country. We are not aware of the rights of the rivers. We are thinking of sharing rivers. We are thinking of managing rivers. We are thinking of exploiting rivers. We are thinking of resolving disputes about rivers. We are passing 3 bills. There are 3 bills pending with the government of India. And all the 3 bills talk about various other things, but nothing, not a single sentence about conservation of rivers. How to protect rivers? None of our business. None of our business of parliament. None of our business of executive. None of our business of even the judiciary. Do you know why I am including judiciary? We have to thank judiciary for protecting the rivers by making several orders, which Rajendra Singh ji was mentioning in the morning, whether we implement or not. Somebody asked a question. Who will implement the orders of Supreme Court? This is the question. Then the answer was, we should have another Supreme Court to implement the orders of Supreme Court. Then the other question was, who will implement that Supreme Court's order? So it is difficult. Supreme Court's orders are supposed to be implemented by governments at center, government at states, and people at large. People are not excluded from the duty of implementation of judgments. We are supposed to implement the judgments. Okay, that is fine. Then we have 2 provisions in Indian Constitution under Article 48 and 51, which say that we have to develop scientific methods of protecting the environment and nature. Are we doing it? In Hyderabad, every day I'll travel 25 kilometers to reach my college. En route there is Katta Maisamma, but Cheru is missing. మీకు తెలుసా? అది తెలుగులో చెప్తాను, మా బొల్లి సత్యనారాయణ గారికి అర్థమైపోతుంది. కట్ట ఉంది, కట్ట మైసమ్మ ఉంది, చెరువు లేదు. కట్ట ఎందుకంటే చెరువును రక్షించడానికి కట్టండి. బండ్ ఆఫ్ ది ట్యాంక్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఇన్ తెలుగు కట్ట. Then to protect Katta, there is one goddess, the god of people. She is called Katta Maisamma. And the fun is, there is no tank, there is no water body. That is what is happening to water bodies in entire country, and especially in Hyderabad. Hyderabad was almost on par with Bhopal in its abundance of water bodies. But today, most of the water bodies have become colonies. And nobody bothers about where the water has gone. Do you remember river Saraswati, which was associate of Maharshi Vyasa? When he was about to write pen Mahabharat, it was there on the side of side of Vyasa Maharshi. But today, where is it? We simply say, so that we protect the sentiments of the people, that it is Antarvahini. Somewhere under from that river that was recognized by the court. And ecologically, what we are doing in the name of development, we are constructing dams, and that can take away 270,000 trees. And 1,150 hectares of forest land off. Ecuador Constitution for the first time in 2008 has recognized the status of legal person to the rivers. And then they have recognized a park was recognized in New Zealand. National park has been given the status of legal person, similar to our Naimisharanya, but we don't recognize Naimisharanya as legal person. And New Zealand passed a law in 2017 giving legal personhood status to Wanghauri River ecosystem. And in 2009, United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution giving, declaring International Mother Earth Day, where Mother Earth was given recognition of the legal person. And in 2019, Dhaka High Court has recognized River Turag as legal person. There are several such incidents world over where rights of rivers were established, and we are supposed to advocate for the rights of the rivers. So unless we realize, and there is one important judgment from Gujarat High Court I would like to mention, it's a very, very important judgment. What it says is, those industries who release effluent pollutions into the river should be deprived of water and power. Water and power. So that is the punishment. And second punishment is name and shame. Declare that this is the river, this is the industry which is spoiling the rivers. This is the industry which is spoiling the rivers. So naming and shaming is one method of protecting the rivers. And one more point I would like to tell you, we worship Ganga with Harati every day. 3 hours or 4 hours it goes. But we are dumping crores of rupees to cleanse it. Are we really cleaning it? So these are all the questions we should raise and we should question. And every political party, what is the purpose of manifesto of river rights here? Every political party should have rights of rivers as part of their manifesto. And they should promise to the people before they ask for votes that they are going to protect the rivers. Then only we can protect the rivers. This is one of the methods of protection of the river. Last point I'd like to tell you, directive principles of state policy in the Constitution are not advices. They are not recommendations. They are directives. You know what is the meaning of directives. Look at the language that was used by the Constitution. Directive principles of state policy. That means when you are drafting a policy for the state, you must ensure that what is written in directive principles of state policy constitute your policy. But we are considering as a useless piece of paper. The necessity of understanding the constitutional provisions of protecting the constitution of the rivers and constitution of the protection of nature of the rivers, and then we include in them in the manifesto of all the political parties who are going to contest and demand your votes. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sridharji, and I stand corrected. No, yes, thank you so much. I think you have given us a lot of food for thought. No, bilkul. As an information commissioner, it should be. Yes, it is. Right to write it. Yes. So thank you so much. I think you have given us a lot of food for thought, and also why we need to have legal protection as well as people's force behind to see that the laws are, the legal directives are implemented and executed. I'd now like to invite, moving on to the discussions on the River Manifesto, I would now like to invite our great friend Vinod Bodhankarji to explain what are the highlights, the 20 points that the manifesto will include, which you are proposing in front of this gathering. And I would request you to do that in 10 minutes. Yeah. Yes, you can.
Thank you. Seated on the dais here, and also seated across in this auditorium, we are all children of the river. When the first time we heard about the history very clearly told us, river is the mother of civilization. Just yesterday, my mother was in hospital, physically my mother, 92-year-old. And I had the experience of taking a spoon and feeding her. And I realized that sometimes when mother takes care of us, there comes a time when we have to take care of mother. Now, if it is true that all the people of India are the children of the rivers, which are our mothers, then how many children will we need to set back our rivers, which are now not feeling well? When my mother was not well and in hospital, all the three brothers have run together and we are looking after her. How many children are required to look after my mother? All her children. 3 brothers and 1 sister, we all rushed in. We have so many rivers. Ganga, Yamuna, Sindhu, Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Narmada, Tapi, each of them is our mother. Really, this is a historic occasion in which we are not really only the people here and only the people there. Whom do we represent? We represent ourselves as the children of all these rivers, and the rivers are not feeling well. If rivers are the mother of civilization and they gave birth to our civilization, and if they are not feeling well, then we are looking after a reform which is civilizational reform. हम कहते हैं सिंधु नदी संस्कृति के बारे में जैसे कि वो मृत संस्कृति है। आज तो कृष्णा नदी की जीवंत संस्कृति के हम लोग हैं, गोदावरी नदी की जीवंत संस्कृति के हम लोग हैं। ये सोचकर कि हम सब मैनिफेस्टो आपके आगे रखने वाले हैं, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी आके जब मैनिफेस्टो रखती है, when a political party places a manifesto before us, we clearly know they need our strength. They need our strength very temporarily. वोट के वास्ते उनको टेम्पररी स्ट्रेंथ चाहिए। आज ये जो मैनिफेस्टो है ये टेम्पररी स्ट्रेंथ के बारे में नहीं है। ये मैनिफेस्टो सुनने के बाद ध्यान में रखे कि अभी फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ लाइफ वी नीड द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ ऑल द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया। नाउ हाउ आर वी गोइंग टू गैदर दिस? एटलीस्ट वी हैव टू नेम द 2 teams. One is Indian Himalayan River Basin Council, which hopes to gather all the children of the rivers which flow from the Himalayas. The second team, which is being called by the manifesto, please, I will remind you, a manifesto calls for the strength of the people. A manifesto comes during the time of election because they need the strength of the people. Now, whom do we represent? A political party? No. We represent that mother about which the speaker before me, my honored brother over here, spoke about the same rivers. We represent those rivers and we give a call to all the people of India under 2 names, Indian Himalayan River Basin Council, Indian Peninsular River Basin Council. Just 3 years ago, I want to remind everyone of that again. We were in Jodhpur where we were asked to introduce ourselves. I remember saying that I am from the Krishna River. I remember Prakash Rao also saying he's from the Krishna River, identity badal gaya. And then he announced over there within 3 minutes, I admire that very much, Prakash Rao ji, I can see you seated there. He announced there that within that same year in this hall, we called the people of 4 states, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. And in the same hall, the brotherhood between these 4 states where the identity is Krishna River is extended within these 3 years, perhaps because of the pandemic it is delayed. Now I'll come to the issues on which all the states have to sit together. Himalayan rivers have a different nature, a different geology, a different geohydrology, and a different cultural basis also. The peninsular rivers are a little different, they are not snow-fed. What does this mean? All the children of all these rivers will have to share their experiences. How do we share the experience? If I have the experience of Krishna River, Narendra Bhai has the experience of Godavari River, if they are different, and someone has the experience of Ganga River, then we must have a manifest. A manifest is a list. It's just a list. we must have a list about the river that we ask everyone to speak about. Till now, I've experienced over the last 10 years that we take the suggestions from the people and in 2 days we try to summarize it. This time, if you see a paper has been handed over to you, it is in order to gather your experience about your river in your region. And this starts not just the manifesto, but the process of consulting everybody in India to find out what is it that the government has on priority in Ganga, what is it that the people in the NGOs are saying, what is it that the people who lose their homes to the shifting Kosi River, what do they want? How do we gather the status of the river report? The paper which is given to you, I'm going to just touch on 2-3 of those things there. In order to share our experience about our river, in order to bring forward a manifesto which says that we stand for these rivers, but we must have a very thorough understanding of each river, the profile of the river, the status of the river, वहाँ कौन-कौन काम कर रहा है, who has proved that they are the children of the river, and we start gathering these people. The brief outline of the subjects in the proposed River Basin Manifesto. Please remember this, though we have been asked to complete the manifesto today or tomorrow, the subjects themselves require at the least 2 months of preparation. So how is this consultative process going to happen? I'm going to just place this before you. The details of what will be the subject of consultation will be placed by all the people over here. The process is going to happen the second time when we will talk about the manifesto is in Delhi on the 14th and 15th of April. Now what happens between today and the 14th and 15th of April is that the manifesto paper which has been given to you, not only will you try, it is a request and prayer to you, try to give us a feedback on each of the points today and tomorrow. At the same time, this freedom to give us the feedback is there open till 31st March. I remember that in none of our sessions of 2 days, we have given so much time for people to give the feedback. When the feedback comes in, we'll be in touch with you about how we are putting the feedback together, really representing all the rivers of India. Can we put it together in 2 days? So we need your help in recognizing that as the children of the rivers where you come from, please once again study the river. I'm sure most of you are working to rejuvenate the river. Please help us by giving us the status of the health of the mother wherever you live. So the paper given to you, I'm not going to read that, you can read it. The consultative process which begins today, we may have an interim report today or tomorrow, but the consultative process must go on till the 14th and 15th of April. After that, another 2 months are there. IJRBC was formed on 28th April. So I think that there will be a second round of consultations and a third round of consultations. And by the time we come to the 28th of July, we should have a manifesto which becomes a complete representation of the status of the health of our river, all the rivers in India. With this preliminary idea of this being a consultative process, where all the children of the rivers who are present here, we need your input because all the children are needed when mother is sick. So with this much of a preliminary, I hand over the Sutradharita to Indiraji. Thank you.
थैंक यू विनोद जी. आपने
दोस्तों, श्रीधर ने और विनोद ने, यदि इन दोनों को देखो तो एक ने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और दूसरे ने कल्चरल जो विजन है आपके मैनिफेस्टो के लिए, उस सबको यदि आप ध्यान से देखोगे तो 2 बातें निकल के आ रही हैं कि नदियां कभी भी किसी पॉलिटिकल और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव बाउंड्री में नहीं बनती थी, नदियां कल्चरली भी नहीं बनती थी. ऑल सिविलाइजेशन अपनी आज़ादी से उनके साथ रहती बनती थी. इसलिए यदि मैनिफेस्टो बनाना है तो फिर हमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और कल्चरल चीज़ों को रिवर की सिविलाइजेशन और कल्चरल रिलेशनशिप के साथ जोड़ना और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के साथ जोड़ना. यदि आप इन दोनों के साथ मैनिफेस्टो नहीं जोड़ोगे तो आपका मैनिफेस्टो में जो आप करना चाहते हो वो अपने लिए नहीं बनाओगे, वो फिर किसी और के लिए बनाओगे, सरकार के लिए बनाओगे. हमारा मैनिफेस्टो केवल सरकार के लिए नहीं है, केवल मीडिया के लिए नहीं है, हमारा मैनिफेस्टो हमारे लिए भी है। यदि हमें अपना मैनिफेस्टो अपने लिए बनाना है तब दूसरों पर उसका प्रभाव होगा, तो वो ओरिजिनली उसको प्रभावित कर सकेगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Bhaiji. Thank you, Vinod ji. There's just one correction in this paper. Vinod ji said it correctly. We will be meeting on 14th and 15th of April, not 14th and 15th of March. There's a slight change in the program. पहले तो था कि हम लोगों को 5-5 मिनट अभी सुनेंगे, but I think we are getting delayed over lunch. So let us break for lunch now, and then we will come back. Prakash ji, what time?
Yeah, about 2:30, and memento of Sridhar, Vaiji will give.
Okay.
You can announce.
Okay, so we will come back after taking lunch at 2:30, where we will continue the discussion on the River Manifesto. Meanwhile, and even later, please put your suggestions in the other side of this paper and hand it over to us, so that we can include your points as we go ahead in our discussion. I'd now like to request Bhaiji to give a memento to Sridhar ji.
Please come.
इस मोमेंटो के साथ श्रीधर को बांध रहा हूं इस बात के लिए कि हमारे मैनिफेस्टो का ड्राफ्ट विनोद और ये सब पूरी टीम तो करेगी, लेकिन पहली कॉपी हमारे श्रीधर बना के देंगे अंग्रेजी में। थैंक यू वेरी मच। उन्होंने आपको अंगूठा दिखा के कह दिया कि हम आपके साथ हैं। वेरी गुड, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
एक बार पकड़िए फोटो के लिए।
तो